One of the greatest issues I see with conversations today is that people don't recognize that we're all on the same team for the most part. What I mean by this is that we all ultimately share the same goals for the world around us, such as how we want to make sure that the poor are taken care of, that they can be brought out of poverty, and that we can also provide enough food and water for them. We also want to make sure that everyone's rights are protected, so that we can have the freedom to make the choices that are best for us. We also want a strong economy, so that we can all work to make a living and support ourselves along with those we care about. These and many other goals you will share with almost every person you encounter in your lifetime. Given that we agree on what our goals are, our disagreements lie in the question, how do we achieve those goals? The answer to this question, which may seem overly simple, is through conversation. We need conversation, because no matter how smart you are, you won't come to the answer on your own. You need to test your ideas against others' ideas that go against yours in order to find what the best solution is. However, this only works if you come at the conversation with an effort of goodwill and with the assumption that the other person might know something that you don't. In this way, if you're able to find out what the other person knows and incorporate that into your ideas, you can get closer to the truth. Unfortunately, in many conversations today, we see the opposite. Instead, we often see people come to conversations with the attitude that they know everything they need to know about the situation and that they have the best idea for a solution and are not willing to learn from the other side. In this kind of conversation, the goal is no longer to find the answer to the problem. Instead, the goal is to win the argument. These kind of conversations stall our progress as a society and lead to strategies which leave us all worse off. These pernicious strategies include character attacks, straw man arguments, and in my opinion, one of the worst is a claim to know the other person's motive. An example of this could be the argument, well, if you don't support minimum wage, then that must mean you don't care about the poor. The issue with this argument is that it's not relevant at all to the question at hand. Let's say that out of a desire to help the poor, you support a $50 per hour minimum wage. However, when this comes into effect, unemployment skyrockets, so rather than helping the poor, it ends up making more people poor. This shows that a person's motives for supporting a certain idea are completely unrelated to the merits of that idea. Even if a person's motives were relevant, there's no way to know a person's true motive. It's incredibly arrogant to assume that the only reason a person disagrees with you is through suspect motive, rather than some other reason that you haven't tried to fully understand. Therefore, you should not trust or give credence to anyone who argues based on what they claim to know another person's motives to be. Given the state of how many people discuss issues today, what should we do about it? When you have a conversation with someone about important issues, don't argue to win. Try to resist the urge to make your prepared argument without truly listening to the other person. Try not to assume to know what they're going to say, and instead remember that you can learn something from what they might know. Also, recognize counterproductive arguments. When instead of discussing the merits of various ideas, people resort to character attacks or claiming to know the other person's motive, call them out on it. Be aware when people's practices are halting the discussion rather than promoting it, and don't support people when they use these tactics. And try to remember, with everyone you're talking to, you're on the same team. You agree on what you want to happen in the world. You just disagree on how to get there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. To continue the discussion, leave a comment down below, or email me at paulfred.learning@gmail.com.